I want to get to this Marner stuff where Dregs was on with us yesterday, and he said he believes, there are teams that could offer him more than $14 million. I've seen other reporters indicate that that's possible. Like, in line with the Draisaitl chat. Now, Leon signed his last year, but he's making $14 million a year. Like, how could any GM possibly
I love that you brought this up. I can't wait to talk.
How could you ever go to your owner and say, I'm going to pay a guy more than Draisaitl?
Hey,
like, how? How can you do that?
Mike, school him. Tell him
Go ahead,
what's going on.
school me on how anyone on earth could say that makes sense to pay
What's
the
cap next
22nd
year?
best player in the league.
What's the cap next year?
What does that have to do with anything?
That's all it has to do with it.
Draisaitl's deal has a
percentage of the cap.
Percentage of the cap.
I get it, but Draisaitl's deal
Hey.
has not kicked in yet, guys. He didn't sign it 4 years ago.
It was signed last year.
So what? He knew the cap was going up.
We didn't know the cap was going up at this much.
Yes, he did. You're telling me the agents didn't know? Stop it.
You know what? If we're going to be honest, the agents knew. And I talked to players, I talked to agents, and they were not officially, but they were forewarned that this was going to happen. But Hayes, here it is, okay? We're going to take you back to grade 10 economics. I know you love that course. You and O in the locker, chilling with the textbook.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, right? The reason why you have to pay Marner more than Draisaitl is not because he's better. It's because there's a scarcity of product. You can't get Marner. If Draisaitl was available to the open market, he would get more than Marner on the open market. He never got to it. So the reason why Marner could get more than Draisaitl, yes, it's percentage of the cap. Yes, Jonas, you're right. And when it was signed, and we can make that argument. But no one's going to go and say he's better than Leon Draisaitl.
No, of course
Nobody.
not. That's not the point anyone's making.
But the point is, you can get Marner for nothing if you're willing to pay him. You couldn't get Draisaitl, and that alone will be enough. Supply and demand, limited supply, monstrous demand, it will drive prices up. That's just how it's going to go. It's like a private sale of a house versus a public auction. It's just how it goes. And when on the open market forces will dictate the price, and that market force is going to drive his up.
Yeah,
Jonas,
I understand.
you're on board with that too, right?
It's logical. Like, it makes
No,
sense.
it's not logical. That's
It
the
totally
point.
is.
No,
Mike's right. Like, he's the top free agent by a mile.
So
the cap is
what does
going
that
up.
have to do with anything?
Do the cap hit percentage. Like, it's not the same.
That's not what I'm talking about. I understand supply and demand, but you also are who you are as
also,
a player.
Draisaitl could have gone for more money. Like, it's not like he took the maximum dollar.
Well, he did. He got the highest paid. He's the highest paid guy in the league.
Yes, but he's worth more.
According to you, of course.
Personal spin on it, Hayes, okay? In a nutshell, okay? To my very personal life. I left school the same year as Brendan Morrison. Brendan Morrison won 2 Hobie Bakers and 2 national championships, a better player than me. He had to sign in Jersey. He got $150,000 to sign. I got to sign anywhere I wanted. I got $1 million. Does that make me a better player? No. It's just the nature of the business when you are a free asset, which Mitch Marner has played himself into being, and that's why he's going to get more. It's like, Jonas is kind of right, but not entirely. Hayes, the point you're making about, like, nobody can ever go to their GM and say, we're going to pay this guy's price out.
It's not about Marner.
Sense.
I'm not saying don't go get whatever you can get. That's not my point. What I'm saying is, like Marner, what is he, the 22nd best player in the league, let's say. That's arbitrary. Sure. Maybe you'd have him 15th. Maybe someone have him 28th. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Draisaitl is the second best player in the game. Maybe you have him third. Maybe you have him fifth. But he's in the top 5.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Is that the idea that you go to your owner and say, I am going to give a right winger with the playoff performances that he has the most money anyone's ever been given in the league. It's crazy.
That's how sports work. It always happens.
Name someone that got more than LeBron.
This happened. It happened in the NBA like 2 years ago. Jaylen Brown was the richest, got the biggest contract.
$40 million.
That's different. Jaylen Brown was with Boston, and the NBA CBA is basically, if you hit certain check marks, there's not even really a negotiation. Yes. But not as a free agent.
Okay, answer me this. Let's say Draisaitl didn't sign the extension. He was going to become a free agent right now. What would he get?
18.
Okay, so he wouldn't 16. Go up 4 million.
15, 16, like he chose to sign early. Like
I understand all of this. Again, you guys
aren't
actually talking about what I'm talking about.
I'm actually listen. No, I want to interject here for a second because I understand exactly what you're saying, Johnny and Jonas. But what Brian is saying is the optics of this is awful. And how do you do? Awful's the wrong word.
But someone is eventually going to pass Draisaitl, Noodles. Like,
yes,
it's going to happen.
Connor McDavid, Jonas. That's my point.
Well, he's going to pass
Mitch
Marner. He's going to pass Marner too. So what's the difference?
Again, Marner can get whatever he wants. I'm not trying to withhold him from getting money.
You're saying this is not about Marner. This is just about
I'm saying
Draisaitl.
it's weird that the league may have the highest paid player be like the 22nd best player in the league, who's never won anything, and like that.
Fair.
That to me optically is very strange. That's what I'm saying.
How much time has to elapse before you're comfortable with the idea that the rising cap is going to, like, players who are not as good are going to get paid more than players who are better who have signed a long-term deal? Is it 1 year? 2 years? How long is it going to be before you're going to be okay with it?
Good point, and I don't have an answer for you, but you're right. I mean, it's going up, and everyone's floating up, and all. And again, I'm not saying Mitch shouldn't, like, for me, he should get basically what Rantanen got. Like, Rantanen also just signed for 12. His agent knew, the Stars knew. How do you justify Rantanen getting 12 but Mitch getting 14.25?
He's going to the free market.
I get it, but Rantanen he could have as well, and he decided. All right.
I like this.
Yes.
But it's not. It was the free market, Jonas.
It wasn't.
No, it was, because he could have said, "I'm not signing with you," and Dallas was like, "Well, we really want you." And he's like, "All right, well then let's work this out. Pay me what I want." They said 12, and he took it. He could have stayed in Carolina and played it out. He didn't. And again, that was like a month ago. A guy who's on the same wavelength, in fact, better, certainly in the playoffs, signed for 12. And Mitch is going to get $2.25 million more per year, and a team's going to say, "I can justify that." That's crazy. It's crazy behavior. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not predicting it won't happen. I'm just saying if and when it does, it's absurd.
Well, let me ask you guys this then.
We've talked about
I
the
know the
Rantanen
cap
deal.
implications.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've also known the Scarch issue for Rantanen getting bounced around. He wanted the security of a deal. He didn't want to take it to open market. Go ahead, Noodles.
Well, I was just going to say, is there a contending team that is going to be able to fit him in? That would be or is it going to be the
Vegas.
Utahs, the Chicago?
Do you think Vegas will pay him 14.25?
I don't think he's going to get 14 in Vegas.
They will pay him net tax $13 million contract. A Toronto 14 is a Vegas 10.5. They'll give him that.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. So, but the point being is his cap hit will be 10.5. It won't be 14. That's the difference, right? Like that's so.
If he goes backwards on 10.9, that will be hilarious.
But the point, like my point, Johnny, is he's not going to be walking around. So the PA doesn't list it with an asterisk saying he's in a tax-free state, so he's only
take home pay. They do cap.
Right, exactly. They do. So my point is